Closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.
Hey everybody, it's Zach, aka Zach's Reviews. We are back again with another video, and guys, today was episode 5 of Loki. We finally got some information, guys, on a little bit of what the hell's going on. But we also, at the same time, still don't know what's going on. But we get some answers answered in this episode. We pretty much continue this episode right where it left off with, Loki pretty much, essentially waking up, and he is, with the other Lokis. We end up seeing all that play out. And, we get to meet, boastful Loki, we get to meet, kid Loki, and we get to meet classic Loki, and we get to understand what lives they've lived out in their, branch realities of their times. So, we all, there's a moment where we get to see where they're hiding out, but we get to also see, and Gator Loki, of course, which Gator Loki in this episode was, just super funny, because they were questioning the entire time, at least our Loki was, if that was even the Loki, or if it was just, green or whatever. He's like, he couldn't even, process it. But he's like, you know what, whatever. I've seen so much things, it's not really that, far-fetched. But I love how, he's like, Loki's like, what the hell's going on? Why are we running from this storm creature? Because we end up finding out there's a storm creature, and that's what the smoke is. And they're like, it, eats everything in there. The best way they said it was, classic Loki said it was, they're in a fish tank with a big giant shark, or they're in a shark tank with a big shark, and they're the food of this monster. So this monster just keeps pretty much feasting on all these things that come in to this there's this in that destructive place, I guess, that, we end up finding out from, Renslayer, that is a place where everything and everyone gets pruned to, and it's just a place where time, the branches can't grow, so they're just put in this one place, because there's still magic there, that makes it whatever, so that's where they go to this, destructive, New York, which we won't wonder that, in the sneak peeks, and, the trailers, when we see New York, and we see, Stark Tower, what does this mean exactly? Because I said that in my last, review about Stark Towers, and, my theories of maybe this could be a timeline, maybe where, Stark didn't save New York from, the missile, or maybe it could be, Loki succeeded, and I'm thinking maybe I don't know if that's exactly what we got, because we do know that boastful Loki, we end up finding out that he actually was able to stop the Avengers and all that stuff, in his Battle of New York, and he ended up being king. So I'm thinking maybe is it that place? Is that the place? I don't know. Or is it from his, or I think he said that in his timeline, his branch reality, it did happen, but then the TVA ended up taking him and ended up, of course, pruning him to this place. So we don't even know exactly what that place is, except the fact that, Renslayer said that that's just a place where, branches can't grow anymore, and that's where, all the Lokis and all the variants that are, everybody that gets pruned go to. So that's all we know so far. So of that New York, it's just a destructive New York where everything that gets pruned goes there because there's magic still there. So I thought that was cool, at least. I thought it was cool that, we got some information on boastful Loki about how, his branch reality or his branch time. We also got, a little bit on, the classic Loki on his time. He said, he got the Ragnarok, and because, Loki's like, oh, we survived Ragnarok, or at least I did, or whatever, and he's like, how did you survive? Because, with Thanos, and he's like, oh, I tricked Thanos. He thought he snapped my neck, but I was so good to trick the Mad Titan. And he said, I was wondering if my brother missed me and all that stuff when I fled. So I was thinking right away, I paused that, I told my sister, I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, is this our Loki, but just looks different, because we were all wondering where that Loki was. We were all wondering, we thought our Loki didn't die in, Infinity War. We thought, if anything, he, tricked Thanos and left. And it's cool because, Marvel listened to us a little bit, because they kind of gave us some of the classic Loki survived and tricked Thanos. Thinking he snapped the actual Loki's neck, but he didn't, and he ended up surviving. So I'm thinking they kind of gave us that, but with our Loki does end up dying. But as we all know, Endgame happened, a different, that our Loki's still dead, but this is the same Loki that we, saw in, New York, the one that would have turned into the Loki we would have soon to come to know. So I thought that was very cool that they kind of like made our theory about Loki surviving Infinity War, and they kind of gave it to classic Loki. I thought that was clever and cool just to like still like show us as fans that they listen to us, they hear our theories, they hear our speculations, and it was just so nice that they did that for us. And hearing Kid Loki on why he got prunes and why he's a variant. He killed Thor. Kid Loki killed Thor. When he said that, I was like, oh, no freaking way. You killed Thor? I was like, wow. I'm like, how many times did our Loki want to really do that and he couldn't succeed? So, damn, that Kid Loki was a savage. I really did like Kid Loki. I'm excited to see that character come back because we know he's going to be in, the Young Avengers movie or show. I don't know if it's going to be a movie or a show, but we know he's going to be coming back. So I'm really interested to see him come back, and Gator Loki, because like Gator Loki, I'm assuming is like his pet because he always holds him and whatever. So I'm excited to know if that Gator Loki will come back with Loki whenever that series starts up and we end up seeing Kid Loki again. But apparently we see boastful Loki. He ends up betraying the Lokis because they have this little hideout. And he ends up pretty much giving them the information on where they're hiding just to be on the throne, I guess, of this world. Because Kid Loki actually, I guess, is the ruler of that, destructive, New York, edge of the earth place that everything that gets pruned goes to. And there's other Lokis. There's the President Loki that we ended up seeing in the trailer is actually a different variant of a Loki. We thought it was our Loki, but actually it's, a variant Loki. And everybody ends up turning on that variant Loki because he had a crew that, wanted to take over and get the throne from Kid Loki. But he made a deal with boastful Loki saying that, if I let you do this, you'll give me your army so that way I can, take over this place or whatever, or take over from Kid Loki or whatever. But then the guy with the army, President Loki said, nah, I tricked you. I'm going to take over everybody and I'm going to be the leader here. And then his army turns on him. There's a big brawl, literally, in this man cave. I thought that was hilarious. It was a great brawl with magic and mischief. I thought it was sick. And then next thing you know, classic Loki and Kid Loki and Gator Loki all dip on Boastful because he's a betrayer, he's a liar, and he's like, and classic Loki's like, this is so stupid. We're all think we're meant for the greatest, their greatest purpose and stuff like that. And he's like, that's all bullcrap, you know what I mean? Like, why can't we just grow and all unite? And, since we're all on this one place, we're all, turning on one another. It's bullcrap. It's stupid. And, I just love how, we leave them with that. But going to, Sylvie and Renslayer, we're right back where we left off with them. And they're upstairs and she's trying to get information on the Renslayer. Like, okay, who's in charge? Do you know who's in charge? Renslayer doesn't know who's in charge. That did shock me a little bit. I thought she would have been in on it a little bit more, but actually, she is a person that is denying the fact that, they're variants, even though she's seeing the truth right before her eyes with, what was it, B-15? We're seeing her in front of her eyes that's a person. C-20, they're all, remembering things. Mobius, and she's ignoring the problem, and she's ignoring that they weren't even real. The timekeepers, they were robots. She's ignoring all this, and it's right in front of her face. And she wants to pretty much, she's pretending to work with Sylvie to, say, oh, I'm just as mad as you are. I want to find out who they are. And that's true, but she wants to find them, whoever's in charge, before Sylvie finds, whoever's in charge. Because she, I think, wants to protect them because she is so far gone, thinking that this is my life. I don't care anything else before that. I'm already invested in this, and I need to protect them. I need to protect what I have. She's afraid of admitting the truth that that's a false reality. It's not none of it's real. They're all variants, and they were taken by whoever. And, Sylvie wants to find them to end them because they shouldn't have done what they did. And I guess, and Renslayer, I think, really wants to protect whoever the hell this is. And, Miss Minutes had a lot of time in this. We really saw Miss Minutes' personality. I don't even think she's really an AI anymore. I think she's an actual person of some sorts because she feels like a person. It's different from Jarvis too because when we saw Jarvis, I didn't think of him like as like a person before we know he turned into Vision. But like Miss Minutes just seems like her when you see her on the screen, she reminds me so much of a person. The way she like moves and stuff like that, and I love the way the life they give Miss Minutes because it doesn't just seem like a projection. She seems like an actual person, and it's funny. So I really did enjoy that, and she's like trying to find files, and Renslayer when she's pretending to work with Sylvie, it's like, oh, help me find the file on the end of all time or whatever, because I guess that's where I guess where the time pocket is of that nothing grows, where things get pruned, and they're trying to look for that, and they're trying to find a way to get there, but the storm, they can't get through the storm to get to that place. But I guess she said there's a space shuttle that can get them there, and she's like, oh yeah, it hasn't been tested yet, but we can use that, and Miss Minutes couldn't find it, which means that she was stalling for time so the other agents would come in there and try to, take Sylvie out. But I don't think she wanted Sylvie to get pruned because she knows that if she gets to Loki, they'd probably be able to get out of it some way. And she knows that, Sylvie's very smart. Think of all the stuff Sylvie's been able to do that Renslayer, wouldn't have even been able to do, you know what I mean, in a way. Because she was able to plan everything out, trick the whole, TVA to getting to the elevator, and, originally, if Loki didn't stop her, and then getting in there again and taking out and finding out the timekeepers are fake. So she's been able to really do damage and really do some stuff to do stuff to ruin, Renslayer's TVA and stuff. If her, so it makes sense she's able to cause this much mischief, and if she's able to go and find Loki and get out of there, which she knows that it's like, in a way, it's not possible, but if anybody's able to do it, it's Sylvie and Loki. So she was kind of concerned when she saw, Sylvie prune herself. I knew that's what she was going to do to find Loki there, because she knows that you can't survive when you get pruned. And she knows that maybe there's the information we need is there. So right when, the agents turned around and said, she pruned herself, you could tell Renslayer's like, oh crap, this isn't good. She's going to find a way out of there and find this, the real person that made the time, that made the timekeeper robots and that made the TVA. I need to get to him. And asked, B-15, what drives Sylvie? And she's like, revenge. She's like, you want it, but she wants it more. She needs it, or whatever. So that's what I love, is that, Renslayer wants to find, the real person that made the TVA and the timekeepers, but Sylvie needs it. She wants revenge. And I'm really excited to see in this final episode what's going to happen. Because, there was a cool moment where we end up finding out that Loki's he's actually able to enchant, but he needs to believe in himself, and Sylvie gives him that, strength, so he can believe in himself while, they try to take down this big monster cloud creature. I got many vibes of New Mutants, where we saw that big bear cloud creature. I thought about that. I thought about also in Fantastic Four 2, Rise of Silver Surfer, how they had Galactus and he was a big cloud. I thought of many of those things. I know it wasn't any of those things, but I had very reminisce of I've seen stuff like this before. I thought it was very cool. I was like, what kind of creature is this? I hope we know eventually what creature is that, because I'm curious to know if they'll let us know what creature that is and if it's in the comic lore or anything, but I thought it was cool. So, while, they need a distraction, Loki tries to be that at first because Kid Loki gives him a sword and, and pretty much, and says, you're going to need this. And Kid Loki goes off and, a classic Loki goes off and they're like, and we end up seeing Mobius, as I knew and probably most of you guys knew that Mobius was alive. He was in a lot of, promotional sneak peeks and stuff and TV spots on TV of him driving. And, I knew he was alive. I said it, on my Instagram Live when I was talking, to J3 and, Ronan and, Savage that, that I told them that I kind of got that spoiled a little bit, knowing he was alive. Even though I had my theory of him, people that get pruned aren't actually dead before we saw the end credit, because I remember telling my sister, before we saw Loki not dead, I was like, he's not dead, they're going somewhere, clearly, they're not dying. So, I was kind of annoyed about that. I saw that in a TV spot because it would have been cool to actually, actually see that thing and be like, oh, whatever. But right when Loki got pruned, and even before that, I knew that people don't die when they get pruned, they go somewhere. But it was still annoying to see that thing before, this upcoming episode, because I would like to know that maybe Loki's survived, but other people that get pruned don't survive. But, I saw that thing, so I knew Mobius was still alive. So, but, it is what it is. So we see Mobius in this episode, and he ends up saving Sylvie when she gets pruned and she gets dropped down on that place. She's about to get eaten by the creature. She ends up running. I see the car. I'm like, that's Mobius. I told my sister, I'm like, that's Mobius. I saw that car sequence, or that, whatever, him in the car in the TV spot. And it was Mobius, and they end up finding Loki, and, classic Loki and Kid Loki, and make the plan. They go off saying, we're going to stay here. This is our home. And, since Sylvie took the temp pad from Renslayer, gave it to Mobius, and Mobius went back to the TVA to burn it down to the ground. So it's going to be interesting to see how Renslayer is going to deal with Mobius, because Mobius is pissed. So I'm excited to see that end in the next episode. And then we see, of course, Sylvie and Loki, and their Sylvie is giving him the drive and the strength to enchant. So they're enchanting this big creature, and they need a distraction, and the distraction is classic Loki, and we see how powerful Loki's can be. We see him literally, project Asgard, and that was so beautiful to see that sequence where we're seeing project Asgard, and he's tricking the monster, thinking, oh my god, he's thinking, oh, I'm gonna get a big snack right here, a big full course meal, but he ends up pretty much eating, just pretty much, projections, and it's the funniest thing. He keeps falling for it, this creature. But then it's sad because he said, my glorious purpose, and then classic Loki ends up dying. I was kind of hoping he would survive because, I thought, I just loved that character. I love the classic Loki. I thought that was cool. I love Kid Loki. I wish they survived because I heard we're getting a season 2, which I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I wish they didn't announce that almost because it's I would love to see how this would end. And then out of nowhere, the people are like, oh, what's going to happen if it is on the big cliffhanger? And then people are like, by the way, you guys are getting a season 2 or something, or some crazy stuff, you know what I mean? But it's we know now we're getting a season 2, but I have still yet to know how this season will end, if I'll even want a season 2. I mean, I was kind of hoping this would lead up to one big thing, which it still can, but it's I don't know, because how WandaVision isn't getting season 2, so I was kind of thinking, do we really want a season 2 of Loki? I love Loki, I love this series, but it's I want this to initially lead up to something big, leading into Multiverse of Madness and leading into Spider-Man and No Way Home, stuff like that. It's kind of I don't know if I want you know what I mean? Because it's that makes me think that is the ending going to be that big where it's you know what I mean? It kind of diminishes the big ending. At least I hope it doesn't. I hope they really follow through on the big ending and it leads into other things. But also I hope it's not they're just doing this as a cash grab, doing a season 2. I hope they actually have some great stories to tell in season 2, because you should only make a sequel if you got some stories on where these characters can go, not just because someone enjoys it. You need to actually know and not do it as a cash grab and do it to extend these characters' stories and world building. So I hope they can do that in season 2 if they're doing it. We'll find out in this last episode, which is next week, guys. It's the final episode. It's going to be insane. We're finally at the moment where they do enchant the beast. They open up the gates, and we end up seeing this one house, and it has and also there's literally a lighthouse, and it's on the edge of the universe. And there's been speculations that it's going to be I forget what's called, the last person, I guess, or that an elder something, or I think an elder god or something. They said something like that. New Rockstar said something like that. So I'm wondering that is it the first ever person, or the last person on Earth or whatever, since it deals with the end of time. So is that the last person that was able to do all this? I don't know. I'm kind of I'm wondering who it's going to be. I'm hoping it's Kang. Ever since I saw that, I'm I don't know if Kang's going to be at that place. So I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed that my Kang theories probably went to crap, but it is what it is, I guess. But we'll find out, guys, in the next episode, which is next week. But guys, tomorrow is Black Widow 2. So we're getting so much Marvel things, and this was such a great way to kick off my Marvel week, essentially. We have Loki today, Black Widow tomorrow. My review for Black Widow will be out tomorrow, so, look out for that, guys. So, again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, put on those notifications, like this video. I would just love to have you guys here, a part of this family here on this channel. We're growing each and every day. I would just love to have you guys here, a part of this family. I'm all about spreading love, positivity, and motivation here on this channel. But again, guys, that was my end review of, episode 5 of Loki, and I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say in the comments below of your theories, speculations for this last episode, and I want to know if any of your theories and speculations leading into this episode came true. And also, the biggest moment I left out was we saw when they're going in the tunnel to go to their man cave, and so classic Loki and Kid Loki and Gator Loki and boastful Loki's man cave, we see Mjolnir, and we see Thor literally in a jar, super small, and he's trying to get out of the jar and get to Mjolnir, and we hear yelling, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my god, is that like Chris Hemsworth's Thor trapped in that jar? It isn't, it's a what? What is that? It's a frog? Oh my god. So it's Frog Loki. It's Frog Thor. It's Frog Thor. Okay, my sister just, zoomed in on it. It's Frog Thor trying to get to Mjolnir. Because remember, we heard that he's turned, I guess in the comics, he turned him into a frog. And I think if I'm correct, in Thor Ragnarok, he said he turned me into a frog once or something. So, it's Frog Thor. I honest to God hope we get Frog Thor later sometime in the MCU. That'd be phenomenal. Because, we still have yet to get, what's his name? It's on the tip of my tongue. It's a Thor. Who is it? Beth, oh my god, why am I blanking? Who's the other Thor that we have yet to see, but they hinted towards him in Ragnarok? Oh, dang, I'm blanking. Guys, if I can remember it, I'll say it, but you probably know who I'm talking about. Beta Ray Bill. There we go. Oh my god, my brain was malfunctioning. Beta Ray Bill. I hope we get him in Thor Love and Thunder. We might, but I'm getting off topic. But guys, I hope everybody has a great day, a safe day. I'll see you guys in the comments, and I'll see you guys next week. So I'll see you later. Peace.